Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the new season of TC Weekly Live. We're your hosts. I'm Dexter.
And I'm Corey. Today's going to be one heck of a show. We got the news, Narado, something about music, some lovely folks cooking up some food, and Brian's hit classic, The Zombie Show.
That's right, Corey. We've got one heck of a lineup today.
As always, Dexter. But first, let's roll into the news and see what's happening around the world.
2020 has been one hell of a year.
With all this COVID-19 talk, all there really is to do is hang outside. Even got my mask.
With all of the protests and riots and everything else that's going on, we figured we'd share a more positive side of the news.
Every episode, we plan on sharing videos that give a lighter side of the news. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Choose Your News. My name is Corey.
And I'm Dexter.
Today I'll be showing you a current news event.
And I'll be sharing some news from the past.
Now, I did film in a cemetery for dramatic effect, so if that makes you uneasy, please feel free to tune out for a minute or two. Death is inevitable, for some more than others. A cemetery, a place to lay them to rest. But what happens when someone is declared dead before their time? How would you feel if you woke up at a funeral home, very much alive? For one woman, this became a reality. Tamisha Beauchamp was declared dead by the paramedics who tried to resuscitate her for 30 minutes. An hour after that, she was taken to a funeral home. She had opened up her eyes for the staff to see that she was very much alive. Now there's an internal investigation to decide what went wrong. Why was she declared dead when she was alive? Why did the signs of her breathing get missed? Tamisha Beauchamp is angry. She was declared dead and almost died because of the diagnosis. Her family is angry and upset. They thought they lost a loved one. Her lawyer is just trying to get money off of the heartache of other people. It's a lawyer thing to do. She's alive, she's well, and she gets to wake up another day. And that, to me, is a miracle in Detroit.
Well, that was an interesting story. It's very fortunate that she's still alive.
Oh, most definitely. Tamisha Beauchamp is definitely a courageous person for having to go through all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, moving on this day in history, many interesting things have happened. So let's take a look. Today in history, September 7th, Buddy Holly was born in Lubbock, Texas, 84 years ago. Holly was well known for writing his own material and for experimenting with things such as double tracking and orchestration. Holly also set the now popular precedent of a band using 2 guitars, a bass, and a drum set on stage. Holly's music inspired other bands to be created, such as the Beatles, which is eerily similar to his own band the Crickets, and the Stones. Also on the 7th, 51 years ago today, Monty Python's Flying Circus had its debut on BBC TV. The show consisted of a bunch of short comedy sketches that included live-action skits performed by the group's members. Monty Python's Flying Circus became incredibly popular and ran for a total of 4 seasons. The show had also obtained a few awards during its time, 3 of which were the BAFTA TV Award for production and writing performances, graphics, and for being the best light entertainment program on air. They also won the Online Film and Television Association Award, and were entered into the OFTA TV Hall of Fame in 2008. Today in history, September 8th, in 1974, Gerald R. Ford pardoned his predecessor Richard Nixon for the crimes that were committed by him during his presidential term. This pardon was seen as controversial, and because of that, it's believed to be one of the reasons that Ford wasn't re-elected afterwards. Last but not least, again on the 8th, in 1966, the now popular science fiction television show, Star Trek, made its debut on NBC and lasted for a total of 3 seasons after that. The ratings for the show on NBC were pretty low, hence the 3 seasons, as the network cancelled it entirely. It wasn't until later on in the 70s when Star Trek started to be considered as a cult classic. Now, Star Trek is considered to be one of the most popular and influential television series out there. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Choose Your News.
Tune in next week for another great episode. Well, that was the news. Pretty interesting stuff, if I say so myself.
You know, I still don't know why we have a segment for the news, but it's no skin off our backs.
Exactly, it makes our lives easier.
Next up, Narado. I
Is it-
heard Sam has a spicy one this time.
Isn't he talking about death or something? Kind of morbid, don't you think?
Exactly. So let's check it out.
Hello, my name is Sam and welcome to Narado, where I'll rant about my opinions on storytelling elements in movies, TV shows, games, and even anime. And today I'm going to be discussing why it's important to have the audience on your side when a character departs. With any character that has to die in a story, they need at least one of these traits. Either be funny, charming, or relatable. It's these traits that we actually use in real life when seeking companionship. Without any one of these traits, your audience loses interest in them and could care less about them. Obviously, this is a given, but sometimes movies just use a character's death to move the plot along. It feels like movies ignore this half and only focus on the protagonist crying for a bit. You need to show both sides. If you want people to believe that these characters are having real relationships with each other, you need to show off their emotions. Show me other characters' mentalities and personalities changing, because in real life, we do change when we lose someone. So, let's focus on getting your audience attached to these characters before they start departing. Let's shift gears and look at John Coffey from The Green Mile. If you've ever seen The Green Mile, you know that John Coffey's story isn't a happy one. John is a gentle giant who is sadly put on death row for a crime he did not commit. Throughout the 3-hour and 8-minute runtime, the audience falls in love with John Coffey. Paul Edgecombe learns that John Coffey is special. John can heal anyone from any ailment. John finds out that the world around him is cruel and doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. To Paul's surprise, he can't help but refuse and push to get him off death row. Paul reluctantly complies, and sadly, they finish John's sentence. When it's time for John to go, you can see the pain in everyone's eyes. Paul is mostly affected by this because he could see what John could do, and what he could have done for the rest of the world. As time goes on, Paul realizes that he has received a gift from John, as he finds out that he's not dying. He lives out the rest of his life teaching others what John was and what he could do. Michael Clarke Duncan is a powerhouse in this movie, which just makes The Green Mile a roller coaster of emotions. The movie starts out as a feel-good movie, but when the reveal comes that John wants to die, it's a sucker punch in the gut.
Please, Paul. Don't put that thing up on my face. Don't put me in the dark. I was afraid of the dark.
You know that John was innocent, and that he's a gentle giant, and you can't help but feel sad and hope that someone is going to make it right. Sadly, this doesn't happen. John Coffey probably holds one of the heaviest hitting deaths in cinema. I also believe, though, that Dominic Santiago holds one of the heaviest deaths in video game storytelling.
Baby, I'm sorry I couldn't bring you home. But you're with the kids now. That's home, yeah? I'll see you all again one day.
The Gears of War series is a great set of games, although it has the stereotype that all it is just some bro-fest where jack dudes save the planet by killing everything in sight, which is true to some degree, but it actually is just a bro-fest where jack dudes save the planet by killing everything in sight, but with feelings. Furthermore, storytelling in games is a one-up on movies. You become an active participant with the story. You become the characters. So let's break it down. Gears 1 came out in 2006, then Gears 2 arrived in 2008, and finally Gears 3 came out in 2011. Now that's a whole lot of time to get attached to these characters, and to the stories of Gears of War, which you can happen to share it with a buddy in the co-op campaign. Dom has been through hell and back. Not only does Dom lose his kids at the start of the war, he is also forced to mercy kill his wife, Maria.
Dom.
With losing his wife, this takes a huge toll on Dom. You can watch his whole attitude and personality change right in front of your eyes. As some of you are aware though, Dom is actually the side character in the Gears of War series. His relationship with the lead, Marcus, voiced by John DiMaggio, is a very believable one. From the start of the game, you are shown off that they are indeed brothers, not by blood, but by bond. Then, when the chips are down and the cards are stacked against Marcus and crew, like the hero he is, Dom nobly sacrifices himself to save everyone else.
Like
Marcus then inherits the pain that Dom had, keeps his head up, and finishes the job. The reason why I love Dom so much is because you got to be Dom. You got to see what he was going through, and his voice actor, Carlos Ferro, makes Dom more believable. You see what drives him down the dark path of depression and pain. Then when it's time for Dom to go, you can't help but shed a tear. John and Dom are predominant examples of how to make a proper character death. They were both given plenty of screen time, they were both interesting enough to care about, and their deaths showed how much of an impact they made on other characters. This all paid off because the fans cared about them. Ask any Gears fan if they cried when Dom died, and I bet you'll get a resounding yes. So when it comes to killing off characters, you need to make sure that the characters play an important part to the other leads. Make the character compelling enough where the audience would actually care enough to shed a tear. No one is going to be crying over some character that was just a blank slate, and whose only role was just to die. Finally, give the character screen time. Let everyone grow to love them. Make them relatable, funny, charming, and give them realistic relationships with other characters. Show off how important they were to others. Let their death really set in. If someone has to die, make sure they're compelling enough to care about. And that's why it's important to have the audience on your side when a character departs.
You good, man?
Yeah.
You want to continue? Because I can just finish everything up.
No, I'm good. Next up is the cooking show. I heard they're making vegan mac and cheese.
Right on. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Kiana,
Hi, my name is Maddie.
and welcome to the cooking show.
Today we're going to be making mac and cheese, but vegan mac and cheese.
Yes. So we're going to tell you what you are going to need for the vegan mac and cheese. You're going to need 3 cans of coconut milk. You're going to need salt, Dijon mustard, onion powder, yeast, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, flour, vegetable stock, vegan butter, and then toast.
Cut up.
Cut up toast. So now you're gonna take your toast and you're gonna put it on top.
Sprinkle it on top.
You could probably make it smaller, but I like big toast chunks, I guess.
I mean, your preference.
Yeah. You can blend it to make it like smaller pieces, but
Get chunky.
it's your world. That's your business. minutes. It's all done. She looks
Prime.
amazing. Now we're going to try it, and Josh is actually going to try it this time.
Yeah, get over here.
Ready?
Okay, ready?
Oh my god, it's so like cheesy.
Yep.
Josh, you want to give us the verdict?
Good.
Out of 10.
Out of 10?
I don't know, like 7 or 8.
I say like 8.5.
Okay.
I say 8.5 or 9, honestly.
We're good. And no animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Okay. Oh. So, that is vegan mac and cheese. I'm Maddie,
I'm Kiana.
And I'm Josh.
and this is the cooking show.
See you next week.
Huh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Same. Either way, great stuff as always.
Maybe next week we'll get some gourmet grub.
Now that sounds good. Just like our next segment, something about music.
But before we roll into that, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm an instructor at A Plus Driving. At A Plus Driving, we teach our kids the right way to drive.
I'm a student at A Plus Driving, and I only got, I think, 2 tickets this week.
Our drivers are A Plus quality. You look at her. She's doing the best she can. This is only 3 weeks. Come to A Plus Driving today.
Hello, and welcome to Something About Music, the show where we take sounds from everyday things and environments and process it into music. In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on sounds from the kitchen. Let's start by gathering the sounds. Now it's time to start processing.
Okay, so to start things off, I'm just going to open up FL Studio, which is where I made my project, and all of these sounds here are what I sampled from the kitchen. You can see that they're named according to like what I used to gather the noise, like the microwave or the cup or the paper towel, fridge, etc. These are all the different patterns, and obviously they vary. You can see in like the top it says like pattern 8, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 6. This is my bass that I added, and I honestly just put it there because it kind of tied it all together. Because before it was just a lot of sounds. Like, not that it didn't sound good, because I made it sound pretty cool, but, you know. And then this obviously is just my noise automation to fade out at the end. So yeah.
Now that was a banger. I can't wait to hear what's next.
I wonder how much time goes in each song.
Wait, you don't have an answer for that?
No. I'm the news guy. I don't know anything about music. Anyways, for our last show, we have the zombie show.
Day one of my blog. I decided I'm going to vlog this because I don't know who else will. Only 1% of the human population is left. And the rest are just walking corpses now. I wish things could go back to the way they were, instead of having to run house to house, look behind my back all the time. These zombies are everywhere. I've barely made it here unscathed in this basement. And I don't think anyone else is here in this town. And I've been running low on supplies. I only have 3 cans of food left and my sniper rifle, which is right here only. Some chunky soup, that's it. Which is why I decided tomorrow I'm gonna go on a scavenge run. I've already mapped it out on my map. There's a warehouse in town which the army shipped a bunch of food there, but they never got to spread it to everyone. Which is why if I can get my hands on that food, I can live there for a while. So tomorrow I'm gonna do that, and hopefully I don't get bit. As of right now, I don't know how it spreads. I'm not sure if it's airborne, if it's through being bitten, but right now, I'm not infected right now. At least I think I'm not. Hopefully, I can last a little bit longer. That's the end of my day one blog.
How riveting, eh?
Heck yeah, man. Zombies and COVID don't mix too well.
No, they don't, Dexter. No, they don't.
That concludes this week's episode of TC Weekly Live.
Thanks for watching. We are your hosts, Corey and Dexter. Make sure to tune in next Tuesday at 3:30 and go follow DMT and WTC on Instagram.
Be safe and have a good night, folks.